If I can't do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Hello everyone, welcome to SustaiNet, a podcast that shall make you scrutinize your approach towards environment. Before I begin, let me introduce myself. I am Smita Anil, Faculty of Chemistry in India International School, Sharjah. Being the in charge of the School Eco Club and BIA programs, I always motivate the students to indulge in activities that address environmental issues. The activities include the Cleanup Campaign Sharjah, Best Out of Waste competition by BITS, Environment Day programs conducted by American University, etc. I am also given the opportunity to groom children for a range of varied programs conducted by BIA. I always try to incorporate environment-related activities in classroom learning in order to foster students' appreciation for natural environment. Today, let us discuss the topic COVID and the environment, impact and sustainability. COVID-19 pandemic have affected us and our environment very badly. This is a known fact to all. Keeping this in mind, the topic for the podcast is the most relevant one in giving awareness on the present day situation. As a coin has its two sides, let us have a short discussion on the pros and cons of the topic too. As the COVID-19 pandemic increased exponentially across the globe, threatening lives and uprooting the economy of cities and nations, it also had a major impact on the environment. In a matter of a few months, the world has transformed its way of living. As work from home becomes the new norm, 23% of carbon emissions have dropped globally just because of a decrease in transportation. But that's not all. Here are few other positive as well as negative impacts the COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the environment. The economic shutdown under the COVID-19 pandemic has had two monumental impacts on our environment. It has improved our air and water quality dramatically and slashed our material consumption, water usage, and waste production. According to World Health Organization, 4.6 million people die each year directly due to air pollution. However, after the 2-week lockdown, scientists monitoring pollution satellites observed a decrease in air pollution. A drop of 25% in carbon dioxide emissions along with 40% in nitrogen oxide emissions was observed. Similar changes have been observed in UAE during the self-isolation period. Air quality improved largely because of a reduction in road traffic, air traffic, and factory emissions of carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, ozone, and particulate matter formation. As the majority of industries have reduced activities, the water consumption of the industrial sector has decreased to about 20 to 30%. The hotels and health clubs are not functioning to full capacity either. Hence, a decrease in water consumption has been observed. It has also been noted that people tend to be more efficient with water at home than hotels and resorts. Besides a decrease in water consumption, there has been an exemplified clearness in water quality. Due to the decrease in fuel demands for factories and travel, there has been a sharp decline by 435,000 barrels a day in the first quarter of 2020 due to the pandemic. As combustion of fossil fuel is one of the leading causes of pollution, This decrease is a positive sign for the environment. Oil pollution also harms animals and insects, disrupts the food chain, and prevents photosynthesis in plants. Apart from its effect on wildlife, oil contamination can make water unsuitable for irrigation and damage irrigation plants. Due to less human interference, plants are exposed to better air quality and clean water. The amount of oxygen and other nutrients required for their growth are not polluted and hence allow plants to grow and harvest healthy produce, which is essential for improving the food cycle of the planet. When the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic, global fishing activity has been down by nearly 10% compared to the 2018-19 average. According to a new estimate, and in some places, the decline has been much greater. Due to restriction in movement, supply chains are fragmented, fishing imports are declined, thus dwindling sales and affecting fishing communities. However, the positive impact on marine life due to the decline in fishing will be dependent on several factors such as species, life history traits, and whether these species are bred during these months. Let us discuss the negative impacts of the pandemic on the environment. Increasing non-recyclable waste is a major problem. With increasing home deliveries during the lockdown, meals and online shopping surged, which requires a lot of plastic packaging. Due to an increase in health concern, food retailers have resumed using single-use plastic bags at checkout points instead of reusable paper bags, which was slowly becoming a norm before the pandemic. Production and disposal of surgical masks, gloves, protective equipment, and body bags have increased due to the COVID-19 crisis, but all the waste generated ends up adding on the landfills and the environment. On average, 8 million tons of plastic trash, that is 30 times as heavy as the Statue of Liberty, leaks into the ocean annually, and this rate is getting worse every passing year. Due to a sharp decline in the availability of cargo transportation services, the export and imports of various essential materials have come to a standstill. Severe cuts in agriculture and fishery export levels have led to wastage of large quantities of produce. Environmental protection workers at national parks, land, marine conservation zones were required to stay at home during lockdown, resulting in leaving these areas unmonitored. The decline in ecotourism activity has led to an increase in unemployment in the region frequented by tourists. Hence, to manage their income, there has been a rise in illegal deforestation, fishing, and wildlife hunting. Waste management is getting difficult. Safety equipment use and haphazard disposal to protect from the viral infection. Presently, people are using face masks, hand gloves, and other safety equipment, which increase the amount of healthcare waste. It is reported that in USA, trash amount has been increasing due to increasing PPE use at the domestic level. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, the production and use of plastic-based PPE is increased worldwide. It is assumed that all of these environmental consequences are short-term. So, it is high time to make a proper strategy for long-term benefit as well as sustainable environmental management. The COVID-19 pandemic has elicited a global response and make us united to win against the virus. Similarly, to protect this globe, the home of human beings, united effort of the countries should be imperative. Therefore, some possible strategies are proposed for global environmental sustainability. Sustainable industrialization. Industrialization is crucial for economic growth. However, it's time to think about sustainability. For sustainable industrialization, it is essential to shift to less energy-intensive industries. Use of cleaner fuels and technologies, and strong energy-efficient policies. Moreover, industries should be built in some specific zones, keeping in mind that waste from one industry can be used as raw material of the other. After a certain period, industrial zones should have been shut down in a circular way to reduce emission without hampering the national economy. Again, industries, especially ready-made garments and other where a huge number of people work. Proper distance and hygienic environment should maintain to reduce the spread of any infectious communicable disease. Use of green and public transport. To reduce emissions, it is necessary to encourage people to use public transport rather private vehicles. Besides, people should encourage to use bicycle in a short distance and public bike sharing system like should be available for mass usage, which is not only environment friendly but also beneficial for health. Use of renewable energy. Use of renewable energy can lower the demand of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas, which can play an important role in reducing the GHGs emission. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, global energy demand is reduced, which results in the reduction of emission and increased ambient air quality in many areas. But to maintain the daily needs and global economic growth, it is not possible to cut off energy demand like a pandemic situation. Hence, use of renewable energy sources like solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal heat, and biomass can meet the energy demand and reduces the GHGs emission. Wastewater treatment and reuse. To control the challenges of water pollution, both industrial and municipal wastewater should be properly treated before discharge. Besides, Reuse of treated wastewater in non-production process like toilet flushing and road cleaning can reduce the burden of excess water withdrawal. Waste recycling and reuse. To reduce the burden of waste and environmental pollution, both industrial and municipal waste should be recycled and reused. Hence, circular economy or circularity system should implement in the production process to minimize the use of raw material and waste generation. Moreover, hazardous and infectious medical waste should be properly managed. It is now clear that majority of the people have a lack of knowledge regarding waste segregation and disposal issue. So, government should implement extensive awareness campaign through different mass media regarding the proper waste segregation, handling and disposal methods. Ecological restoration and ecotourism. For ecological restoration, tourist spots should periodically shut down after a certain period. Moreover, ecotourism practice should be strengthened to promote sustainable livelihood, cultural preservation, and biodiversity conservation. Behavioral change in daily life. To reduce carbon footprint and global carbon emission, it is necessary to change the behavior in our daily life and optimum consumption or resources like avoid processed and take locally grown food, make compost from food waste, switch off or unplug electronic devices when not used. International cooperation to meet the sustainable environmental goals and protection of global environmental resources such as the global climate and biological diversity. Combined international effort is essential. Hence, responsible international authority like United Nations Environment Programme should take effective role to prepare time-oriented policies, arrange international conventions and coordination of global leaders for proper implementation. Directly or indirectly, the pandemic is affecting human life and the global economy, which is ultimately affecting the environment and climate. It reminds us how we have neglected the environmental components and enforced human-induced climate change. Moreover, the global response of COVID-19 also teaches us to work together to combat against the threat to mankind. Through these impacts of COVID-19 on the environment are short-term, united and proposed time-oriented effort can strengthen environmental sustainability and save the earth from the effects of global climate change. Thank you.